He was 5'6", but he made Europe kneel. A nobody from a poor island who crowned himself emperor. A genius, a tyrant, a visionary, a monster, depending on who you ask. This is the wild, brilliant, ruthless rise and fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, the same year France conquered it. His family was minor nobility, but that didn't mean wealth. They spoke Italian, not French. Napoleon, he barely fit in. At military school in France, he was mocked for his accent and his poverty. So, he turned inward. He read everything. Caesar, Alexander, philosophy, warfare. He didn't dream of fitting in. He dreamed of conquest. During the French Revolution, everything was up for grabs. The monarchy was gone. Heads were rolling. France needed leaders. Fast. Napoleon's big break? The siege of Toulon. Royalists had taken the city, and Napoleon was just a low-ranking artillery officer. But he saw a weak point the generals missed. He led a brutal assault, took the city, and overnight, he was a hero. Then came the 13 Vendémiaire. A royalist mob stormed Paris. Napoleon, he crushed them with cannon fire. No hesitation. The government rewarded him with command of the Army of Italy. He was 26. He smashed Austrian forces in Italy, outmaneuvered bigger armies, inspired loyalty from starving troops. He fought like Hannibal, thought like Alexander, and moved like lightning. Europe took notice. So did the French public. In 1798, Napoleon invaded Egypt, not just for conquest, for glory, science, and to strike at British trade. He brought soldiers, yes, but also scientists, engineers, artists. They studied mummies, mapped the stars, and uncovered the Rosetta Stone. He won battles, then lost a fleet to British Admiral Nelson. Cut off from France, surrounded by desert, he did the most Napoleon thing possible. He abandoned his army, returned to Paris, and seized power. In 1799, France was collapsing. Corruption, gridlock, weak leadership. Napoleon staged a coup, made himself first consul. Then, consul for life. By 1804, he was done pretending. He crowned himself emperor of the French in front of the Pope. He rewrote laws, built schools, reformed the economy, made France efficient and dangerous, and he kept fighting. Austria, Prussia, Russia, over and over. His army, the Grande Army, seemed unstoppable. By 1807, Napoleon controlled most of Europe. He placed family on thrones. His word was law. His tactics rewrote military strategy. He believed in merit over birth and order over chaos. But he also built a surveillance state, crushed dissent, and became exactly what the revolution tried to end. A dictator. He wanted to build a lasting empire. But empires don't last forever, especially when you make two fatal mistakes. In 1808, Napoleon invaded Spain and put his brother on the throne. But the Spanish didn't fold. They rose up. Guerrilla warfare bled French forces dry. Then came 1812, Russia. Napoleon invaded with 600,000 troops. He took Moscow, but the Russians burned it. With no supplies and a brutal winter, he retreated. The rest of Europe smelled blood. Prussia, Austria, Britain, Russia all came for him. In 1814, Paris fell. Napoleon abdicated. They exiled him to the tiny island of Elba. They thought it was over. It wasn't. In 1815, Napoleon escaped Elba. As he marched north, royalist troops were sent to arrest him. He walked alone toward them, opened his coat, and shouted, "If you would shoot your emperor, shoot now." They cheered. He returned to power without a single shot fired. It was called the 100 Days. But Europe united once more to stop him. On June 18, 1815, Napoleon faced the Duke of Wellington at Waterloo. He was outnumbered. His troops were tired. The ground was soaked. He made tactical errors, delayed too long, and the Prussians arrived. It was over. Napoleon lost. They exiled him again, this time to St. Helena, a rock in the South Atlantic. No escape, no return. He spent 6 years there, writing, remembering, slowly dying. In 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of half of Europe, died in exile. He was 51. His enemies thought they had buried him, but his legend, that only grew. Napoleon changed war, changed politics, changed the idea of power itself. To some, he was a genius, a reformer, the father of modern France. To others, a tyrant, a warmonger, a dictator. But either way, he was unforgettable. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who rose from nothing and nearly ruled the world.